Good evening, everybody. Nostalgic Goggles 4-3 coming to you live from my basement. And I hope you're all having a good evening. We hope you're all ready for another doubleheader. First, we're going to take on the Philadelphia 76ers. So we will see Trevor Ruffin again. We'll see Tony Massenburg again. Spitz Greatest will be excited about that. Hope the rest of you are as well. And Sharon Wright, whom we acquired in those trades, is going to make a run at 100 points. That's the plan for game one. Let's do this. What's up, Spitz the Greatest? Did you just get here? Did you hear the news? Playing Philadelphia. You know what that means? Tony Massenburg. He's back. Not on our team. On the other team. Davis. Oh. And right. Should foul him every time he gets the ball. Why bother? Now, the last time we played Philly after the trade, Trevor Ruffin had a horrendous game. It's absolutely awful. I even felt kind of bad for him. But that's the way it goes. 10% of anything I make tonight goes to the Retina Foundation of the Southwest. They're doing great work trying to cure blindness in the very old and very young. Please support them. There is a link, direct support link, in my Twitter profile or in the YouTube description. If you're watching on YouTube, creating from the future. Or from the past, in the future. Whatever. Time is hard. Spent the last half hour walking my youngest around in a circle, trying to get her to sleep, which I was not successful in doing, but I did get her calmed down at least, so it's a good thing. She's having a rough time with all this, a lot of upheaval in her little life. My wife had commented earlier that it must feel like she, when we got back from vacation, that she ended up in a parallel universe. Very similar to our own, but just a bit different. There he is. Woo! Massenburg. And we're even already player locked on Sharon Wright. Massenburg tried to follow me. Yeah, young children don't have any way to process even minor changes. It's true. I thought I told this story already. Maybe I didn't. Where she was asking me to take her to the library. I said, well, I can't. The library is closed. And she said, well, you can take me tomorrow. I said, the library is going to be closed tomorrow, too. And she just looked at me. Like I was just lying to her, like I didn't want to take her. Like it just didn't process. And then she started asking when she was going to see her grandparents. Oh no. Yeah, and I mean, I'm working from home. She doesn't ever remember me doing that. The older kids at least have some memories because at previous jobs I was able to do it occasionally. But this is the first time I've had the ability in the job I have now, which I'm very grateful for that ability. But that's another thing. She's not used to me being around all day. Just kind of everything in her life is different. Church is closed. We always used to go out for brunch after church. That's closed. So she has been all out of sorts. It was not out of sorts, though, is Sharon Wright. That timeout was them saying, why did we trade you again? Go. Haha. Take that, Philly. Perhaps I should not bring the ball up the court with Sharon Wright. Well, there goes his field goal percentage. So I'm curious, going into that play, he was shooting 100% from the field. Let's see where we are now. 100 to 55. Indeed. Not our finest moment. There we go. So most of our bigs were selected for their defensive and or rebounding ability, as was Wright. But one difference between Wright and a lot of our other bigs is that he does actually have decent shooting ratings, which is true of Carlos Rogers as well. But I don't have to be afraid of taking a short jumper instead of going up for a layup or dunk. The Sixers are already showing more fight than the Bulls. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the problem with the digital Bulls is. They just do not have their act together. Like, obviously, last night was an anomaly, but the other games have been pretty severe blowouts, too. Comes Ruffin. There we go. You have a theory based upon 2K5. All right. I'll hear it. Always up for your theory. Spit's the greatest. Patron at our Provide a Theory tier. When you play highly rated teams, you tend to blow them out easier than poorly rated teams. There we go. I think the issue has something to do with how the AI reacts with good and bad players. Oh, I see what you're saying, I think. So you're saying since I am only controlling 20% of my team on defense, the rest of my team steps it up a little when they're facing someone like a Jordan in a way that they don't when they're facing someone like a Clarence Weatherspoon? Is that where you're getting at? Oh. Oh, Trevor, no. Massenburg just watched me take that jumper. Oh, more of a glitch than anything. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump all over your theory. Please continue. Good D. And imagine if these dunks were all three-pointers. be 45 to 15. Oof. Tony Massenburg will be appearing on the new Sharon Wright poster. Right again. Their field goal percentage is actually really strong. They're just turning the ball over, something ridiculous. Oh, Tony, punching me in the back. Hometown refs just letting that one go. All right, I'll start reading because now it's getting to the top of my chat window. I think when you have a good player with strong stats, the computer wants to keep them on you or your teammates, like white on rice. Meanwhile, bad players with low stats will play loose. You have found that when you play against the AI with a good player who is playing tight defense, it's easier to glitch them with things like bump protection and unintentional picks. In the same scenario, the bad player doesn't get fooled because they're playing a softer defense. How'd I do? Nope. So that makes sense. You can get behind that. There we go. Look at that shots taken differential. I wish that they tracked the turnover numbers. Actually, I guess maybe I don't, because I don't know if I'd trust them if they did. But got to be ridiculous. That lineup did very well. But they're tired, so we'll let them sit down. Instead, go for Bogues, Restbert, Ellis. Ellis will stay, I guess. Pink, who should have gone to Philadelphia, if not for patron intervention. He gets to remain on the team. Nice finesse. There we go. I was trying to get Muggsy an easy bucket, but pass didn't go the direction I wanted. Whoa! Back in bounds. Here's another thing that makes ratings kind of arbitrary. All right. I'm ready. While you're typing, one thing I will bring up, which surprised me because this wasn't my memory. This game actually doesn't have an overall rating. It's just been such a staple in sports games for such a long time. I didn't remember that it wasn't there from the beginning. Bad luck. Whoa! Steal, Sharon Wright. Stats that mean nothing to gameplay, but count towards stats can be weighed too heavily. So you're talking about things like strength, quickness? In 2K5, a quarterback's rating needs to incorporate leadership, and you think it weighs fairly heavily, but leadership on the field gets you nothing. Are you sure? I mean, they don't have anything under the hood that makes it work better? Like makes the passes more likely to complete or anything like that? Or other football things? That's a thing, right? Completing passes? There's something under the hood, you can't figure it out. Well, fair enough. You've had QBs with terrible leadership and QBs with great leadership. And 2 losses, just like us. Accuracy, arm strength, and composure. More important. Well, that makes sense. Scott Skiles. Oof. I was reading a history of the EA Sports NHL games, like from this era, and they're talking about the offensive awareness and defensive awareness stats in games, and the reason they're called that, I guess, in an early build of the game, or maybe even an early release, it was called intelligence. And then one of the developers actually got an angry complaint from a hockey lineman because his intelligence rating was so low. So they changed the name of it to awareness. Yeah, sure. Anytime you try to break something like that down to a mathematical level, you're going to have a bad time, especially in something like basketball. I read the other day a great article. It wasn't a new one, but it was a New York Times article. Hang on. I can barely do this when I'm not talking. See? Ugly. Nope. That's all right. I got my 2 anyway. Anyway, it was written by Michael Lewis of Moneyball fame, and it was about mostly about Shane Battier, who was a terrific defensive player, but not in a way that ever gets recorded on the stat sheet. And a lot of that was just because he would do things like know exactly where to stand, and you're not going to be able to record that. And his numbers were really low, but he was a major contributor to his teams, and I guess he was his presence was part of the development of the more advanced basketball analytics, because his plus minus was just absolutely through the roof, even though he himself didn't shoot the ball very often. It was a good read. Recommend it. Take that, Massenburg. Where was the assist there? I don't know, whatever. I should just take any assists I'm given. They'll just be makeup assists from the ones I've been robbed in the past. Like poor Massenburg. That fateful game. In Massenburg's 100-point outing, we had decided if he got a triple-double in the course of the game, he would get to stay. And he was 1 assist short, was it? 1 rebound short? Anyway, he was 1 short. It's insane that he's the only one to ever get close to a triple-double. Well, that's not true anymore. Remember, we got one with Muggsy. We have now recorded 1 triple-double this season. Yeah, you don't remember that? I forget which game it was. I'd have to look it up. It wasn't this 100-point game. That was the epic comeback from injury. It was one of the other ones. It actually, I've gotten better at rebounding, so it is not as insurmountable as it was earlier in the season. At least not if I'm playing a guard, someone with good passing ratings, because it's relatively easy to get the assists if you got a good lineup in, and the points obviously are a no-brainer, so the rebounds work out better. We have had players with double-digit steals and blocks in a game, but it's very rare. That was how Muggsy did it. It was points, assists, rebounds. Oh, that's nice. 180 reverse jam. 70 points in the first half for Sharon Wright. There you go, Muggsy. Take that all the way in. Or stop. That one's for you, Spitz the Greatest. Patron at our Buy Bucket tier. Appreciator of a good give and go. Not a fundamental, but too nice to hate. Indeed. I don't think we got time. Nope. Speaking of fundamentals, another good thing from that article, or interesting thought, was talking about just the concept of fundamentals in general, and pointing out that a lot of things that are valued in like suburban, I think he called it white basketball, but suburban basketball compared to urban environments, are things like diving for loose balls that are more pleasant to do on a gym floor as opposed to an asphalt playground. Which I thought was an interesting point. I'd never really considered the differences there between Lake Street Ball and AAU, for example. Who was Charlotte's first pick in the 1991 draft? I think, well, that probably would have been Larry Johnson. Gonna go with Larry Johnson. I think Alonzo was 92 draft. But we'll see. Tim Troy, humanitarian and philanthropist, Spitz the Great, Dr. Ambassador Dortmunder. What do they have in common? They are my patrons, and they have my sincere appreciation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are the best. Speaking of the best, the Retina Foundation of the Southwest is doing the good work. I'm just playing basketball. So don't support me, support them. Or support me and I'll support them. However you want to do it. They are trying to cure macular degeneration, other such things. Envisioning a world without goggles. Check them out. Alright, so Bogues will stay, Restberg will stay. Actually, everybody will stay except Ellis. Put Murray in. There's Restberg. Right. Right. I was not able to pull the numbers from the Hawks game from last night. I planned to do it on my lunch break today, but got called into a lunch meeting at the last minute. It's a nice thing about Twitch, there are no lunch meetings. I don't know about this lineup already, but it's the greatest. I really don't know about this lineup. Ruffin. Showing a little of that razzle dazzle. We miss you, Trevor. Muggsy. Great theft. Right down the middle. Once again, they just cannot get back on defense. Sharon Wright must have some Gatorade at halftime or something. Turbo boost. Pinckney. There it is. If that is a good timeout. Massenburg inbounds. Ruffin dribbles. I take back everything bad I ever said about this lineup. We're just in their heads now. They're not even trying to play defense anymore. Wow. They're just coming apart. This rate is going to get 100 well before the fourth quarter. Oof, and with style. I was just showing off. This is what you could have kept, Philadelphia. That's what he's saying. Look at the score. We were up by like 25 when the quarter started. Basically, they just turned the ball over a lot, and then I did that a lot. Excuse me. They continue to be shooting pretty well. They just can't get a shot off. Ruffin from way out. Back in Canada. Two shots away from making history once more. First team in NBA history to have all of its players score at least 100 points in a single game. Got shoved in midair, does not even care. Didn't stop him. That was a lazy pass, Ruffin. I would have benched you for that. Nice pick by Pinckney. And there it is, 100 points for Sharon Wright. in only 63 shot attempts. There you go, Muggsy. That bucket purchased for us by Dr. Ambassador Dortmunder, patron at our Buy a Bucket tier, Muggsy Bogue supporter. Ruffin tries again. More successful this time. Muggsy with the hook. Not quite. Respert. I was standing way out of position. Wow, Ruffin. 4 for 5 3-pointers. Well, that was why we put him on the team. Go for it, Muggsy. You beat him. Oh, yeah. Very nice. That bucket purchased for us by Tim Troy, humanitarian and philanthropist. Patron at our Buy a Bucket tier. Thank you, Mr. Troy. Get that out of there. Oh, nope. And we get another chance. Nope. What I get for being unselfish. Should have just dunked it again. Massenburg, no. Pinkney says the nay. And throws it down. Should have saved that one for you, Spit's the greatest. Whoa. Will help. Look at that teamwork. Nope. Nobody on him. I wouldn't say they're showing a lot more fight than the Bulls anymore. Risky. That's funny. Spitz saying the same thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had like 50. I think they were over 50 at the half. We were at like 70 something. So considering none of those shots were 3-pointers, that was a pretty solid quarter for us. All right. Yeah, we're gonna have to check the stats on that later. I'm going with Larry Johnson. I think Zoe was 92. Larry Johnson. UNLV. All right. Now let's see which lineups with Miller we want to go with. Not sure Stoudemire's played yet. We'll put him in. Stoudemire, Davis, the Correct, Davis. Hubert Davis. Murray's in now, so we'll put Ellis in. Miller. And Wright can stay. 106 points. On 80% from shooting from the field. No free throws, though. 8 rebounds. 4 assists. Yeah, as long as they don't pick off the passes, the AI is not good at handling ball movement. I am familiar with iRacing. I have not ever tried it, but yes. Why do you ask? Nice. Nope. Oh, Stackhouse. Because he saw my free throw shooting earlier. No, I can't even see where it landed. Ugh. There we go, that's promising. Yes. That's all I need. It's blown up the last couple weeks as there are no sports on. Figure. So real NASCAR drivers have been doing more iRacing than usual. Fox has started broadcasting it. It's become a nice feedback loop for iRacing. Well, good for them. Well, that's ultimately the question, right? I mean, I know that we talked about this with iRacing a couple of streams ago, but I think ultimately it's going to come down to how long it is before things get back to normal. I think if things get back to normal relatively quickly, probably most of these changes won't become permanent. But I wonder about things like that. Like, are people going to start getting really into iRacing? Certainly cheaper to put on. Tonight, the iRacing pros are having their weekly race, and the audience is huge. Right on cue, the race is 40 minutes late to start because of technical difficulties. Oh, no. Have they said what? Davis. Oof. Our three-point shooting has been abysmal tonight. Yeah, that's a black mark. This is one of the very rare games where the opposing team has hit more three-pointers than we have. Cars just hit the track. Nice. Now, do they do like the full like 400, 500 laps on these kind of iRacing events, or are they shorter? And they're all real life racetracks, right? Modeled after real ones. No fantasy tracks. 250 lap track and same length as NASCAR's minor league. Fair enough. Ellis for 3, knocks it down. Our first 3-pointer of the night. Oh, on to sub. That is my first 3. First successful 3. Had a couple other attempts. So we'll go with Murdoch. And Rustford can come back in. Oh, Rustford's still pretty tired. Let's see. How's Murray looking? Murray's looking worse than Ellis. All right. So we'll do Murdoch, Rustford, Ellis. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, weird, isn't it? We have not been nostalgia goggles for 2 in this first game. Oh, that was anticlimactic. I thought for sure he'd take a layup. Yeah, you mentioned there being no sports zones. People are trying to esports. I was a little concerned about competing with March Madness, and now there's no competition with March Madness, and looks like I didn't have to worry. You would have watched me. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. I do appreciate you being here. It'd be awful lonely on the live streams without you. Only games you would have watched would have been Syracuse for 2 rounds tops. Well, you never know. Syracuse has a knack of going farther than they should. Nice D. It was those little moments like that. Like you drew the double, fed the ball over to Miller. Massenburg couldn't get back in time. Like that's an NBA play right there. Happy to watch. Gives you something to do for the first half of the week. There you go. Should use that in my marketing. Nostalgia goggles for 3. Gives you something to do for the first half of the week. Yeah, I'm pretty sure reruns from the actual 95-96 NBA season are beating me in ratings. But then again, I suppose the outcome is probably similarly not in doubt for my games. Not about the destination, though. It's about the journey. Ordered the Saturn cord. There it is. No more messing around with this jump shot business. Just tip it in. So the cord for the Saturn, remind me, this is like an all-in-one thing, not like the SCART cable into whatever. There you go. Be great for your quadrilaterals. There you go. Panzer Dragoon Saga. Great defense by Weatherspoon. Didn't stop the shot, but he stopped me from dunking it, which was a lot more than I expected, given the situation. Second chocolate milk review was around. That's right, I do need to get to that. My days have just been so odd. I was just so surprised to get the rebound, I didn't even try to heave it. There it is, 160 to 80. Exactly double. Teron Wright, 133 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. See, if I'd been going for a triple-double, I think I could have squeezed 2 more assists out of there. "56 assists for us tonight. That's crazy. We never get that many assists. That's like 2 games worth of assists. We rebounded them. Solid effort by my team. Nobody else in double figures, but, you know, spread the points around a little bit. Ooh, we don't talk about free throws. Block shots, who's at the bottom? Pinkney, 3 blocks, 2 for Muggsy Bogues, only 1 for Damon. Have to step up his game to stay on the leaderboards. All right, tied for team lead, 8 assists. There you go, Ruffin, 30 points. Much stronger outing for him this time than last. Almost 50% shooting from the field. 4 for 6 from 3. So tonight, Trevor Ruffin made more threes than our whole team combined. Took some of that future learnings he got in Toronto. Now, quarter by quarter breakdown, 78%. That's got to be close to, if not the best we've had in a single game before. Let's break it down. 70% in the first quarter, 81% in the second quarter, 85% in the third quarter, and 77. Let's look at Phillies. So first quarter for them, 65%, then 52, then 40. That's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then fourth quarter was even worse than the third. I didn't even notice that. I guess they took more. Some of those must have been blocks. Yeah, I guess most of their shots were 2. No, that 40% does not tell the full story of turnovers. You're absolutely right. Got his. Right, took most of our shots. There we go. Alright, so we're gonna save. No, I'm gonna save in the other slot too. Oh, I can't? Oh well. I was just thinking it would be nice to have a backup in case something happens. It'll be one of those games where we need to watch the tape and time how long they went without scoring. Yeah, indeed. But for all of you who are watching, thanks. Always get a backup. Indeed. I guess I can't. The 16-bit technology was not ready for it. And now we transition into our next game. If you're on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. If you're on Twitch, just hang out for a minute and we will continue with the second half of our doubleheader.